Hello, everybody. This is a quick recap of what we did in class today. So you will see that I'm using the period 4 agenda for this, but it is the same no matter what period you are in. Okay, so the PDN was to open up a particular document, and that is your thesis statement document. So I'm going to show you what I had projected on the screen. Make it so you can see it. Okay, so you are looking for wherever you filled out this chart. It could be in two places, either your thesis statement document if you did it before break, or in simplified essay steps if you did it after break. So whichever one you personally use to complete the chart where you were picking quotes, that is what you want to open. So I noticed that a lot of people have been having trouble figuring out how this chart translates to the rest of the pieces of the essay, so I want to explain that. When I first explained this chart at the beginning of this writing process, I used this example up here that's highlighted in red. So what you're doing for each of the columns is in the first one, you're putting the title and author of the text. In the second column, you are picking the quote from that text that you are going to explain. And in the third column, you are doing that explaining work. So you are unpacking what the quote means and then saying what you think it does to define Americans. So for the sake of this quote, I said that this text defines Americans as resilient. So your job, after I gave this example, was to take your own blank chart and do this process for 3 different texts. So when you were finished with that, you should have had title and author, quote, and explanation for all 3 separate texts. Each one would end with you having a word or phrase that talks about how that particular text and quote define Americans. Okay, so some people got stuck in between doing this and filling out the thesis statement frame. The words all changed. Like, people did great work explaining the quotes and coming up with what they meant, and then did not transfer these words over the thesis statement frame. That is what you need to do. So whatever word or phrase you use to sum up your first text, that goes into the first spot in your thesis statement. Whatever word or phrase was in your second text goes to your second box in the thesis statement, and whatever word or phrase you had for the third goes in the third box. So you end up with an American is blank, blank, and blank. Those blanks should be filled in with the words that you came up with in your explanation. Do not just make up 3 different words. The whole point here is that your support, your quotes, need to connect to your thesis statement. Each one of these boxes, the red, the orange, and the yellow, are going to be the subject of one of your body paragraphs. Everything needs to fit together, so the words need to fit together. Once you have that thesis statement frame filled in, that is your thesis statement. So people were also changing things when they went from the thesis statement to the introduction. You do not change your thesis unless I told you specifically that something in it wasn't going to work the way you had it. Whatever you fixed and put together on your thesis statement document just gets copied over into your introductory paragraph. Again, if you change it, it does not correspond to the quotes you're using. Once you get to the point of writing your body paragraphs, all of your information that you need to do that comes from the same chart. So like I said before, each one of these colored rows corresponds to a body paragraph. This first one, the red, would be your first body paragraph, orange is your second, yellow is your third. So these words that you put into your thesis statement The first one here is the topic sentence of your first body paragraph. An American is resilient. Then your support in that first body paragraph is the quote that's in that red. I Too by Langston Hughes, and here's the quote. The explanation here that's in the red goes into the explanation section of your body paragraph. The only thing that you are writing completely from scratch is your transition sentence at the end of each body paragraph. So for your second body paragraph, you move down to the row in the orange. This word gives you your topic sentence. This quote, author, and title give you your support. This explanation is your explanation. And the same for the third text. There's your topic sentence, subject. There's your support in the green, and in the blue is your explanation. If you are picking new quotes or changing the words at every step, you are doing extra work, and it will actually make your essay not make sense. Please, please, please follow the directions in this guide. It is posted in Classroom, and it will help you put together your body paragraphs very quickly with the information from your chart. Okay, so the bulk of what people worked on today were numbers 4 through 6 on the agenda. That is to check any comments that I left on the parts of the essay that I returned to you. So after you turn in your intro, I commented and returned. After you turned in your first body paragraph, I commented and returned. Your job is to make the changes that I ask you to make in those documents. And then once you have made the changes in your body paragraph number 1, you are going to copy it into No Red Ink. So I'm going to show you what that will look like. So once you sign into No Red Ink, you're going to go to the guided draft. You should already have your introduction in here. So now you are just going to fill in body paragraph 1 by copying the information off your graphic organizer slide and putting it straight into here in the same order. When you are finished, you can click Save and Exit. You are not submitting it to me, you are just saving it for now until we put the rest of the paragraphs in. Once paragraph 1 is finished and in No Red Ink, then you are moving on to working on body paragraph 2, which is here in Classroom. It is another copy of the same organizer used for body paragraph 1. You will fill it in with your information and submit it to me. And once you've done that, you are all caught up.